Every film photographer at one point will come across scanning film. After all, doing it yourself can save you a ton of money and a lot of time. But for people who are just starting out, scanning can be quite intimidating, and although it's a fairly simple process, there are a couple of important guidelines to follow to ensure you get quality scans. So today, I'll be showing you guys my scanning process. Everything from what programs I use and go into detail about how I achieve the results that I get. Here is how I scan my film. Let's start off with what items I use. The first and most important piece is the scanner. This is the Epson V550, and there are a ton of options from Canon and other manufacturers out there on the market. This is known as a flatbed scanner, and it's great for scanning not only 35mm, but also 120 film. Next, you'll need a laptop or computer. Here I just use my 13-inch MacBook Air. Also, a set of dust-free latex gloves, a rocket blower, which you can buy from any photographic store, and last but not least, some developed film. Now that's all you need to get started. The next two items though are optional. One, a binder with storage sleeves for all of your developed film. Or two, an external hard drive to store all of your scans. The process. Now I will walk you through step by step on how I scan my film. The first step is to put some gloves on. These gloves will allow you to handle film without leaving nasty fingerprints or scratches. Next, I will set up my working area. Be sure to choose a spot in your house or office where dust isn't an issue. This will save you time in the long run. Once my working area is all done and complete and my scanners are plugged in, now it's time to open up the scanning software. I use the native Epson scan software that you can download online. If you buy another brand of scanner, just do a quick Google search to find the appropriate driver to install. Next, I will grab the film holders and hit it with a couple bursts of air to free up any dust as well as on the scanner's glass. Once clean and dust free, I'll go ahead and follow up with the piece of film that I'll be scanning. Note, when putting the film holders into your scanner, check and make sure your holder corresponds to the matching markers on the side for an accurate scan. Place the film into the holders, glossy side down, matte side up, and secure the film. Once you completed all of those steps, you should be ready to scan. Let's move over to the software itself. When you open the scanning software, the first thing you'll see is document type. Of course, in this situation, we are scanning film. Now, as for film type, set it according to what type of film you'll be shooting. My scanner has the option for black and white film, color film, or positive film, which is just slide film. For image type, again, set it accordingly. For black and white, I use 16-bit grayscale, and for color, I use 48-bit color. Now for resolution, this is where a lot of folks have differing opinions. I'll usually scan my film at 2400 dpi, as you can get perfectly clean results for Instagram, YouTube, or pretty much any social media outlet. This is also great for small 4x6 prints. The benefit of scanning at 2400 dpi is it'll allow your scanner to work a bit faster, so your scans won't take too long. If you want to make prints bigger than 4x6, I recommend bumping that DPI up to around 3600. This is great for 5x7 prints or even 8x10. Also, keep in mind that the higher the DPI, the longer the scanner will take to scan each frame. Now that you have your base settings set for your scans, let's move into your adjustments. On Epson scanners, you will find tons of great features such as an unsharp mask, grain reduction, color restoration, backlit correction, dust removal, and the famous digital ice. Typically when scanning my film, I don't use any of that except for the unsharpening mask and the digital ice technology. If you're unsure what to use the first time, I would recommend cycling through each adjustment and seeing what each of them do. The cool thing about Epson scanners is it'll allow you to see a real-time preview of the frame before you scan it, so you can see what each adjustment does to your scan. Keep in mind, the more adjustments you put on, the longer these scans will take. Okay, now let's recap what we have so far. You set up your scanner, cleaned the holders, opened up the Epson software, walked through the settings and adjustments, and lastly got to see a preview of your film. At this point, you're pretty much ready to scan, but before you move forward, you do have to select the destination of the file, and more importantly, the format of the image. Here, you'll see options like TIFF or JPEG, even PDF in some cases. The two most commonly used though are TIFF and JPEG. JPEG is a compressed file size, which means it's a smaller file, but at the same time, you are going to be losing a little detail in your scan. Now, TIFF is a larger uncompressed file, which means that it's going to take up more room, but you are going to retain a lot of detail within your scan. If you have enough space to store your scans, I highly recommend scanning in TIFF. If not, go ahead and scan in JPEG. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Matter of fact, most of my scans you see on YouTube and on my Instagram are JPEGs. Once you figure out the destination and what scanning format you want to put it into, now you can go ahead and hit scan. After I scan all of my film in, I'll go ahead and run it through Visco or even Lightroom just to make tiny little adjustments here and there. Now, because it is film, I want those characteristics to stand out, so I don't do too much color editing or color grading. Instead, it's more of just exposure levels, contrast, or maybe even a small slight increase or decrease in saturation. So there you have it, how I scan my film. Now, folks, I know my process can be a little bit different from somebody else's, but the process that I used here was designed around me, what I feel most comfortable with. So that's gonna wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, Minolta gang.